Hi, fellow traders. Well, it's another week in the books, third week of January, and this is one of the better weeks. Even though things weren't as clean as I want them to, but I don't think they're ever going to be as clean as we want them to. We search for perfection, but in this industry, it's hard for everything to be perfect. But I'm pretty pleased with the progress so far. We're just clicking right along. So we're going to continue focusing on execution because that's what we're focusing on this year. You know, my goal is to clean up my execution, not have so many loose days, and, you know, really try to clean up my trading going forward. Now, as I said yesterday, you know, we're celebrating our 1 year anniversary here at Average Joe Trading. You know, a year ago today, right at the end of the trading day, I found myself suddenly without a trading home. And, you know, in a matter of a couple hours, I decided to start this community. People, you know, I had some that said it wasn't going to last. You know, you can't stream your platform live because of this, that, and the other. You know, it'd be too difficult. And yeah, we had some bumps in the road. There was a lot of stress going along with it, you know, but we made it through. I didn't give up. I didn't give in. You know, I had a vision and, you know, I made it happen. But I couldn't have done it with all the support that I had this year from all of you guys who came with me when I started this. You know, there were some that were a little hurt because they joined the other room. They had just joined, got all of the Christmas specials and stuff to follow me, and then one day I was gone. So that took a lot of getting them to understand it wasn't me, it wasn't my choice so much. The choice was kind of made for me. But I'm glad you guys came and we were able to work some stuff out, and I really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it. So for those who are not members, for this coming week, this is the first time I've done this. 7 days for $7, and what you get is everything. It's all inclusive. You get to come into both chat rooms, the day trade and swing trade. You get to take all the classes for next week, the classes that we have next week. Sunday morning we do the swing trade watch list and strategy session for the week. You have access to that Sunday morning. You have access to the day trading class on Tuesday, the weekly education webinar on Wednesday, and the swing trade class on Thursday. And also I'm giving you access to the first video for each of the classes. The day trade class, the swing trade class, and the trader's mindset class. So you get to check out each of those. Now, if you become a full member, if you like it, you want to stay, you get access to all of the archive videos, which these are the brand new classes that have been updated. You get all of those videos. As long as you are an active subscriber, you get access to everything. It's all inclusive. So just come check us out. You sign up this weekend before Sunday morning, you get access, you know, starting with the swing trading watch list build and strategy session on Sunday morning. Alright, so let's look at trades today. I almost pulled off a miracle, but this didn't quite do it today. Ended up negative $80, negative 80, 90. But it wasn't a real good day. You know, after reflecting and looking at these trades, you know, I can see some things that I could have cleaned up. Now, you know, I've had a couple people ask, you know, why I don't use live video. Well, if I use the live video of the trade, I would have to cut it up, chop it, speed it up, and it would have no meaning. So if you want to see these trades happen live, come join the room. You see I stream this live every day. You get to see it as it happens. You know, as this hits, you can match it up to time and sales. You know that these are orders actually going out and getting filled. You get to see that. It's as transparent as I can be in terms of you actually being able to see the trade, witness it, and I think that's the best way to learn how to deal with that and the mistakes I make, because everything is out there, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, if I was editing these, I can edit out the bad stuff and only show the good. I can make things look so beautiful, but that's just not the way it is. So I recap these, and this is my way of reflecting. This is my process of reflection, and I share this in the classes, in the community. You know that you have to reflect every night on your trades. I go through a process. I have something that I brought over from my education days. In engineering, you know, we had a reflection process, and I brought all of that over and integrated it to the trading, and that's one of the keys to my success, is being able to go through and reflect on these trades. So these videos it's a video of my reflection process. So I'm recapping my trade and I'm reflecting on it. So, okay, ACOR, this was on my watch list. And, you know, I kind of jumped into this and didn't really fully vet this. Then the 100-day is just really too close. It's too close for me to take this for an opening range breakdown. For an opening range breakdown, I'm looking for a significant move. I'm looking for a lot more than 30, 40, or 50 cents. And I didn't really pay attention to this. So that was the first thing I looked at, you know, after I looked at this trade. Now, initially I thought, you know, hey, I would do this again because this is my setup. But as I reflected on it, I see we've got the 100-day sitting here. It's too close. And it could not get through this. It could not get through this all day, you know, until we got later in the day when we started to lose it. But that was one thing I saw. The other thing, it never did make 500,000 shares in the first 5 minutes. It never traded 500,000 shares. That's one of the rules that I have. One of the conditions for this trade is it has to have traded at least 500,000 shares in the first 5 minutes. It didn't do that, so I never should have touched this. So there was two things that should have kept me out of this trade and didn't. So ended up getting stopped out here for, let's see, what did I lose on this one? Around 178.35. All right, so AGIO. This is one that, this was a reversal. Hit our reversal scan. I was a little late entering. I kind of missed the entry a little bit, and you know, which is why the profit just wasn't there. It should have been around $90 to $100 on the first hit, but I missed it, and we kind of recovered immediately. And you can see here where I got in was too close to the 9 moving average. This is the red line here. On my reversal trades, you know, first profit target is always the 9. And this is exactly why. Because if this trade is going to fail, it usually fails at the 9. The reversal will stop here. It'll bounce and the trend will continue. This would be my continuation trade. So I got in a little bit too late. The gap was just too close. So I shouldn't have gotten in at all. I should have just let it go because I missed the entry. Was trying to force something here and it didn't work out that well. Still only got 42.70. You know, this isn't, I know people say green. I know we always say green is green. It's always good. But this was just poor execution. All the way around. It's just poor execution because the entry was off. I did execute the rest of the trade right, but I say it's poor because the entry was poor. And everything centers around the entry. Getting a good entry most of the time is going to determine whether you get, you know, a successful trade or not. It's all centered around the entry for me. So going back looking at this, you know, I was too close to the 9 and should not have pulled the trigger on this. Now here's where we went up. This was another level up here it ran into that we were looking at. And now here would have been where I should have gotten in. But what I looked at was the volume going away. We were trading below 50,000 shares. And for me, if it's trading less than 50,000 shares, I'm not day trading it. I'm not going to trade it. Even though this worked, you can see kind of how choppy it was. And at any time, somebody could have come in and bought this up. Anytime. So, you know, I see what I did on this, what improvements I need to make. I was just trying to force a trade because it was just so slow. Things just weren't going our way. So let's see, the next one was Juno, and this one really upset me. I was fine all morning until this happened. I was patient. I waited. You know, I didn't take this first rejection here. Even though this was, you know, where I would have wanted to get in. I waited. This thing pushed up again. I waited till we rejected. And we were showing weakness. We stayed below the 9. We were showing weakness. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get this coming out of lunch. And, you know, let it go. I was at lunch anyway. And I was trying to get this set. So when I get back and, you know, get back to my platform, this thing can continue to work down. Well, I got in and the next candle blew right up, hit my stop. I mean, went right to my stop and then turned around and sold back off, and it stayed in play, you know, really until this. But this probably wouldn't have taken my last piece out because it wouldn't. Well, yeah, it probably would have taken my last piece out and I could have reset. But I would have made, you know, a decent move on this. But, you know, this is what irritated me. Now, if this setup happened again tomorrow, I'll take it again tomorrow because this is just what I look for. And I was extra conservative giving it an extra candle before I got in. You know, I could have gotten in on this candle. So this is what really bit me. But this is just one of those trades that, you know, it doesn't work. It didn't work. We didn't get the move. And obviously the the volume had just dropped. When I was getting in this, we were trading a little bit over 50K. But after this push, the volume kind of died with around in here. It did come back a little bit later on, but again, a product of low volume. And, volume is what drives the stock price. Some people say it doesn't matter about volume, but if you don't have buyers and sellers, the stock's not going to move. It's just that simple. So we didn't have enough buyers and sellers to really make a significant move here. And we're going to talk about in the education webinar on Wednesday, we are going to talk about some of the things that we need to look out for, and what the market makers are doing, and how we need to look and analyze what they're doing so that we can not fall into their traps. Because that's basically what we're providing, the liquidity for them to make their trades. In essence, that's what's happening. So, we have to be smart about it. And once they pick up on what we're doing, we need to pick up on what they're doing and make the adjustment. That's what we're going to talk about on Wednesday. So that was it with Juno. SQM this is from yesterday. This is the stock that I got stuck in yesterday. I couldn't get out of this at the close. I showed you this yesterday. This is just the slide from yesterday and where I got in. And there was just no liquidity, nothing after the close yesterday. And it jumped up to like $707. I wasn't going to just take it off there. I mean, I knew, typically on a swing trade, you get these crazy numbers at night because bids get pulled, and sometimes it'll go up to a couple $1,000s. So I wasn't gonna just try to take it off at $700. I figured the morning I would get a chance to at least make this an acceptable loss. So we look at this today. This morning we opened with a gap up, which I didn't like at all. Well, let me tell you, this is a funny story. This morning when I opened up my platform, I looked at the up gappers, and the first thing I saw was SQ. And I about hit the ceiling. And then I realized I'm in SQM, not SQ. So, I had a premature meltdown as soon as I cut the platform on. But luckily nobody was here to see or hear it. But this still gapped up, and I said I was expecting this. I was expecting it to open because it closed yesterday. It closed bullish. I felt we would open, make a push up, and then sell off. And what I was doing was kind of watching this on the 5-minute chart, which I really shouldn't have, because I'm looking to trade this somewhat like a swing trade. So I didn't need to watch all of this, because this would just agitate me from the morning, which it didn't do any good anyway, because I traded pretty awful anyway. But it started to sell off, and so I waited and waited and waited. And when I looked at this at lunch, I was like, well, I'm about $200 down. Should I just take it off? And I was like, nah. I mean, we're below the 9. We're red on the day. We've lost all of this support here. This thing has to be weak. And so I just let it go. And then I just, scaled out some, and then got back in on this rejection and scaled out again. And I was trying to catch 56.78. This was the goal yesterday. This was the target from yesterday, this level. Actually, it's 56.71, I think. But I couldn't get this down far enough, so it was at 78. But we just couldn't get that. Ended up getting stopped out, and guess what? Later on, it came down. But that's just the nature of trading. You know, again, this is another wicked candle that came out of nowhere. But this was, you can see we were trading on low volume, all below 50K. And, you know, I just had to hold on to it. I was in it. I'd made my bed. I had to lie in it. And, you know, I ended up, you know, pulling the rabbit out of the hat. We ended up with $300 profit on something. And you can see last night, I was down $700. You know, so this was the only bright spot from the day. You know, everything else was just, you know, me. It was just a bad day for me and my setups in the market. And I just tried to force a little bit too much. And it didn't work out well. Now, swing trades, I had no movement, no changes on it. I didn't take anything off, even though I probably should have taken SCG off. But, you know, like I said, the day was just not one of those days where I felt in control of anything. You know, I just felt like a puppet on a string, so to speak. So I was thankful to get out of the day, you know, only losing $80. So for the week, that puts us $37.91. It's the best week of the year. And we're steadily improving every week, and that's what I want to see. Our executions are getting a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. I felt I showed great patience in dealing with the SQM trade, and had I not done anything today, you know, I would have come out on top. But I'll take it. You know, we're going to have these days, and we just have to make sure that we're able to manage ourselves to where we, you know, we have these, when we have a red day, that it's contained, that we don't, you know, end up wrecking ourselves. So for the month, 8204.63, this is, you know, pretty good. Now we've got one more full week in this month and 3 days, so we had a week and a half worth of trading still. So there's no reason why we can't get to 10. You know, no reason. Unless you know, I turn into a train wreck or something. All right, so that was it for today, and this is where we are for the week. One of the things that I did say that I was going to change this year, I was going to see, you know, I think sometimes I look at my stats, like my win-loss ratio and all of that, and I might have been putting too much emphasis on that. So, you know, just like I'm not looking at my P&L during the day, I'm not looking at my win-loss ratio or any of those stats. You know, all I'm looking at is I'm analyzing the trades. Every night I'm analyzing every trade, and I'm looking at how I executed. Is there something that I could have done differently? Something that I could have looked at in a different way? And that seems to be working a lot better for me. So I'm not using any type of software so that I could come up with my average win versus average loss, you know, and all of that. I think it just seemed like that might have bogged me down a little bit too much. And I was looking too much into stats versus focusing on my trade execution. So we're going to see how that goes. So far, so good. You know, but it's only been 3 weeks and the jury's still out. So we'll keep a close eye on that. All right, so you guys, I will see you Sunday morning if you come in for our swing trade watch list session, and we'll watch list building strategy session for next week. You guys that want to sign up and join us for next week, if you do that before Sunday morning, you can come in and be a part of that so you can get the full experience of the whole week. So I look forward to you guys. You know, we had several that signed up last night after I announced it, and they're actually going to get 2 swing trade classes because I didn't get to do it yesterday. I had to do it today. So they got to sit in for the swing trade class today, and they'll be in it next Thursday when I do it. So they actually get 2, which worked out pretty good. So, you know, look forward to spending the week with you guys that are coming in. And for our members, you know, we're going to have a couple of giveaways next week, and try to have some fun. You know, I want to celebrate all week. So if I don't see you guys Sunday morning, I will see you Monday morning in chat. Have a safe and enjoyable weekend.